Welcome to the Neighborhood Law Center. I'm your host, Melvin Burruss. And today our guest is Shawn Pendleton, Vice President of Investments. And our topic today is financial planning process. Many of our viewers have asked about financial planning and what they need to do to get started. So we asked Shawn to come aboard to give us an overview of what you need to get started in investment, especially in retirement too, so that since the market is booming right now, you may want to think about how do I get started or should I get started? So Shawn, will you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. My name's Shawn Pendleton, like you said, Vice President of Investments for Stifel. This will be my 7th year with Stifel. Growing up, I've always been a saver. So throughout my mid-career, when the opportunity came to join Stifel, I really just jumped at it. It's been a great place.
Okay. So you're a local. You from Charlottesville, born and raised here in
right here in Charlottesville, Virginia, yes.
What are some of the other things you've been doing while you were in Charlottesville? I understand you're on some boards.
Yeah, so local boards I've been on right now was UVA Children's Hospital, City of Promise Charlottesville, which helps underserved youth in the 10th and Page, West Haven area. Also Community Investment Collaborative, which is also helping young entrepreneurs who are burgeoning in their craft and helping them kind of achieve success in their field.
Okay, so that's good. So you're learning, you're giving,
yes,
and back
always.
To the community.
That's right.
Some of the things that you have learned, and that's commendable. Can you tell us about your company? You mentioned it earlier.
Yes, so Stifel is a full-service investment firm founded in 1890. They have over 130 years of investment experience. We try to do that by a transparent approach. So when you deal with Stifel, we are very service-oriented. So we want to make sure we're face-to-face with our clients, we're upfront and honest, and work with utmost integrity.
Okay. Well, tell our audience how they should get started.
Yeah.
Some of us will say, well, I don't have any money. Others will say, well, I don't trust the stock market at this time. So give us variety. It's not just the stock market.
That's right.
But investment and financial planning is a broad base of services that you offer.
It is. It is. When I say investing, it's always earlier the better. History has already taught us that the market volatility is going to just be there. And it's better to be invested and let time be your friend versus timing. Trying to time the market when the market's high or when the market's low typically isn't the best approach. Usually just staying diversified and starting early and letting compounding of your interest and your investments work for you typically is the best approach.
Okay. How much do you need to get started for the typical person?
It all depends.
You have different ways to invest to get started?
There is. Normally, if you're starting out and you found your first job, look to your company's 401k. Typically, they have matching systems where you put money in and they'll match you a certain percentage. Every little bit helps, especially when you're younger, because you have time for your investments to compound on top of themselves. As far as the amounts, they grow over time. So even starting small, you'll be surprised over the years how your investments will potentially grow for you.
Well, a lot of folks around Charlottesville or the Albemarle or Central Virginia are either self-employed or work for a small company that may not have that 401k.
That's right.
Or don't work for the school district or the county. They don't have the 403B and things like that. So what were your suggestion to them?
So for them, they have what's called an individual retirement account or an IRA. So the first thing we do if you come in to see us is we figure out what type of IRA works best for you. There's different types. There's traditional IRAs, which are more pre-tax, and then there's Roth IRAs, which are post-tax. So our job is to help sit down, figure out your goals, and figure out which IRA is best for you. IRA is like your own 401k. Basically, you invest to your own account.
Okay. Well, how would you describe say I come into your office, and I say to you, Shawn, I have a little bit of money. Can I save on an installment basis? Can I put in $25 a month until I get to a certain amount and then you can invest it?
Yeah, when you're investing in general, we always prefer the installment approach. It's called dollar cost averaging. So you can invest monthly and overall you can reduce your cost because you're putting in a set dollar amount every month. So no matter if the market's high, you're just buying fewer shares. If the market's lower, you're buying less shares. But you're right, if you start out with a small amount and then it grows to an amount that you can make your first investment in, that's great.
Well, how would you describe you got my money now. How would you describe your investment approach?
Yeah, well, personally, I employ more of a teaching style. I always like my clients to leave the office with more information than they had when they first came in, but I don't want to overburden them because, my job is to make sure to look after their investments. So my clients, usually if they can have that type of information, they can make more sound decisions.
Okay. Well, first thing to ask, how much do you charge? I mean, how much is it going to cost me?
Sure.
How do you get paid?
Yeah, so we are fee-based, which means that we work through advisory. Then we also have transactional licenses, so we can do buy, sell for individual commission fee, but our primary practice is through advisory, which means that we don't get paid on the commission on trades, we get paid for our advice, and that's usually on an annual basis.
Now, a lot of us, well, not a lot of us, but some people have children, and they would like to start saving while their children are young.
Yes.
So that, as you know, the cost of college is getting outrageous, that you need to start, as you're saying, long term.
Yes.
Because money grows and money makes money. So what would you say to these parents or even single people, single parents who want to put something aside for their in a vehicle?
Yes. So if for younger children, one of the best vehicles in order to help them later on in life, there's really two. There's what's called a minor account. With a minor account, you would invest on behalf of your child. When they reach of age, either that be 18 to 21, they actually would take over the account. And that's great if they were looking for their first car, first down payment on a home, pay off some student loan debt. It's a good vehicle. Another vehicle, if you're leaning towards college, is the Virginia 529 program. That program allows you to put money away that can grow tax deferred. And for college purposes, well, they've expanded that now. You can actually use it for primary school, vocational, but the growth in that account will actually be tax free for college, vocational, things like that.
Do you have any kind of returns on these types of investment?
Everyone's investment style is different, so it depends on your stomach. Some people have more risk tolerance, and those who have more risk tolerance can stomach the volatility that the market can bring.
So you say some are, because I understand there's growth.
That's right.
And there's the more or less dividend paying.
That's right.
You're more concerned with your principal.
That's right.
So they will have different returns.
They will. They will. So you can, from the more aggressive to the more conservative, your rate of return is going to be based on your risk tolerance.
Okay. What do you say to grandparents? That's a great gift for grandparents.
It is.
Instead of buying kids toys, do you think do you have a program where grandparents can set up some type of fund?
Yes.
Or
yes.
on a regular basis to help their children?
So the
grandkids.
Virginia 529 College Savings Fund, actually, for grandparents, a lot of people don't know, is one of the best tools for college, because if grandparents put money aside for their grandkids for college, when the parents go through the financial aid or the FAFSA forms, they don't list the grandparents' assets as assets that'll be applied towards financial aid. So the parents can have their own 529, lay out the FAFSA forms, and then maybe the third or fourth year in college, they could actually use the grandparents' assets, and it wouldn't affect their ability to get financial aid.
Okay. Sounds like a great way to save for your grandkids. Do you have an overreaching investment philosophy or type thing?
So our overarching philosophy is to we want to enhance the net worth of our clients. And with the way we do that is by sitting down and looking at the holistic view of their assets. What are their goals? What's their time horizon? What's their risk tolerance? And then once we get that information, we use our full suite of research that Stifel offers, anywhere from financial planning to tax planning to asset management. And from there, we just sit down and do a systematic review, maybe semi-annually, maybe annually, and we just work towards their goal.
Okay, you said you look at their assets. Now, do you include the assets that they may have outside of your company?
Absolutely.
For instance, I may have some apartment buildings.
Yes.
I'm getting a return on those, or I may have some bonds set aside somewhere else.
That's right.
So what is your approach there?
So in our financial planning process, we have a questionnaire. And this questionnaire will list all of your real estate, any commodities you may have, any outside 401ks. And once we compile all that data, we have a financial planning program that we use that can run projections for us. They can run simulations. So from there, we can have a good idea based on your spending, your income needs, and your spending habits, what your probability of success is going to be. And when we see that, we make tweaks and we offer recommendations and we make adjustments in order to kind of steer them in the right direction to be more successful in retirement.
Well, on behalf of my clients, my viewers, I'd like to say, describe your typical client.
So I would say our typical client has worked hard their whole life to build their nest egg. And they have uncertainty about the markets. Looking at the headlines, I wouldn't doubt them, but uncertainty can lead to fear. And our job is really just to help them understand how the markets work, understand and kind of work through their risk tolerance, their biases, their fears, and help craft a portfolio for them that kind of suits their needs. Well,
what do they find important in their investment philosophy?
A lot of times, well, it's different. You have people who really, they may want to travel the world, they may want to provide for their kids and really never touch their assets as little as possible to create a legacy. So it really depends on the client, but a lot of the fears, of course, everyone's fear is running out of money, so yeah.
Welcome to the Neighborhood Law Center. This is Melvin Burruss. I'm your host, and our guest is Shawn Pendleton, Vice President of Investments, and we're talking about the financial planning process. And I was about to ask him about a question about, you said before that some people, when they're working, the best investment is a 401k or some other type of investment that their company may be contributing to.
Yes.
But when they get a certain age, they have to take that money out. They have to retire.
That's right.
What do you recommend then? What do they do? What's the process?
So once you get to a certain age in a 401k, this year it's 72 is the age that you really need to take money out of a 401k or your traditional IRA. So we look at that. That's called the required minimum distribution. You have until 72, you don't have to really take money out of your retirement plan, but at age 72 you do, and it's a factor based on your life expectancy. We look at that and we look at the tax issues with it. We combine that with their Social Security that they received either at full retirement age or early, or maybe they waited till age 70. And we kind of put those two together to figure out, okay, are we meeting income needs? The excess money that we are getting from your retirement plan, do we need to spend it? Do we need to reinvest it? Do we want to put it towards charities? It kind of all depends on the individual client.
Well, before we get there, they have a choice, I assume, of leaving it with the company or taking it with them.
Yes.
So what's the process there?
So once again, we just ask the questions. What are your goals? What does your company?
There's a process, the IRA rollover.
Well,
most of them use that, don't they, or don't they? Maybe I'm.
Well, yes. With the IRA rollover, if they decide to move their 401k into a traditional IRA, the rollover process basically keeps the assets in the tax deferred status, meaning there's no taxable event. So they actually, we make the phone call, we make the transfer, the assets go from trustee to trustee. So from the trustee of the company's 401k to Stifel as custodian in their own IRA. And then from there, they have a full suite of investment options to choose from, and then we craft the portfolio. But really, making that switch is something we just talk about and making sure it's the right decision for them.
What's the other option? Just leaving it in
Some
their
companies offer the ability to leave it within their system, and we always want to make sure what works in the best interest of the client. So we look at all those as options.
What kind of services we're talking about investment and planning and investments? What type of products, investment products, do you have or service do you offer?
So our services are all part of our customized financial program. We walk through these step by step with the clients with the questionnaire, and then we have our planning team. So as far as the services and products that we offer investment planning, tax management planning. We have CPAs on staff that can help them just with tax questions, more from an educational standpoint. We do asset management. That means that we hire money managers, or we use a suite of stocks, bonds, or mutual funds to create their portfolio. Retirement planning strategies. We have estate planning attorneys on staff. We review wills and trusts. Estate planning, like I said, and insurance planning. So we look at, their possible need for insurance. We are licensed for insurance as well, depending on what maybe long-term care or life insurance may be appropriate.
Let's go back a step. You mentioned the retirement account, and you said they have options within that retirement
That's
account.
right.
Let's talk about that Is it RMD?
Yes, RMD.
Okay, a lot of folks don't know about that.
Yes.
Where normally, when you take out from your rollover IRA, that you have, it becomes income.
It does.
To you, and if you don't take out the taxes, you end up paying the taxes to Uncle Sam after the fact. But there's another way that you can eliminate those taxes. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. So the way to eliminate taxes, if the income that comes off the RMD may not be necessary at this time, or you have charities that you want to be more involved with, they have what's called a QCD, or Qualified Charitable Distribution. This is a way to take the income off of your RMD and make a donation to a charity and not realize the income that you would normally have to write on your taxes for taking that.
So let's talk about the size of your portfolio that you work with clients personally.
Yeah. So we have a wide range. The beauty of Stifel is that we really don't have a client minimum per se, so it allows us to work with the entire family. Our accounts range anywhere from our lowest accounts are around 5,000 to our highest accounts are close to 50 million. Our average account household is around $500,000 or $500,000.
Okay, so if I'm a client, I got $100, I can come to you and you'll do something with it?
Yeah, so what we do, we have an open door policy. We want to come in and help everyone, but we want to sit down with you and figure out what makes the best sense for your situation. Whether you work with us or we may steer you in the direction that makes the best sense for you, we always are here to help. Okay.
Now, how often, many times you hear about clients investing and they never talk to their manager, portfolio manager, until it's time to make a trade or something.
That's right.
So how often do you talk to your clients?
Yeah, so for us...
Or meet with them?
Absolutely. We firmly believe in more of a systematic approach. We typically, at least annually, semi-annually, sometimes even quarterly, it all depends on the client's, time horizon, how close they get to retirement, but at least annually, you want to make sure to take inventory. Look at market conditions. Do we have to make any tweaks? Do we have to make any adjustments? So yeah, we at least annually. Most of the time, we're about semi-annually for our reviews.
And you talked about some of the things you help clients with. One of the things is reviewing a will. We talk about that, or estate planning.
Absolutely.
You review that. You don't do that, but you review it.
That's correct. That's correct.
Or recommend.
Absolutely, because writing a will, having a trust, it's great. But over time, rules change, especially with HIPAA regulations. So what we want to do is, you always want to review your will at least every 3, max 5 years. So what we do is we take a look at wills and trusts. We send it off to our estate planning attorneys in our corporate office. They'll review it, then we'll have a conversation and sit down, and they'll, give their opinion on it, whether or not it's, watertight, or maybe we need to make some tweaks to make it more compliant with the current legal situation. So we'll offer you some guidance, but we can't enact it. So then we get you with your local attorney who actually just looks at our suggestions and then can actually craft a legal document to get it in place.
So when a person becomes your client, it's almost like a partnership.
It is. It is. We have a vested interest in seeing our clients succeed. So we work with them totally to make sure they can reach their goals.
So what makes your clients' experience more unique than working with another brokerage house or investment firm?
I think it's our ability to leverage resources that are comparable to the largest firms out there. We have one of the largest research firms in the financial industry. We have tremendous CPAs, estate planning attorneys, but all of that still is wrapped around a boutique feel. So we don't have the large, big mentality. We're more individual client focused. We're all about service, unquestionable integrity.
And what else do you tell your clients about their tax situation sometimes?
So when we do tax reviews, we have CPAs on staff that actually look at the last 2 years of taxes to make sure that if there's any loopholes, not really loopholes, but any tweaks that they could use to maximize their tax efficiency, we'll educate them on that. Now, of course, we don't do taxes, but at least if they can be educated on ways to be more efficient, I think that would be good. Then they give that information to their local CPA who can then craft something for them.
Well, take our clients through a period of investment.
Yes.
We're talking about the process. I mean, you mentioned before that you start as young as possible. And you want to get growth when you're younger.
Yes.
And as you mature and your investments mature, you want to get more, you want to protect your principal or get more growth, but however, you want to get some other things going there. Tell us the process there.
Absolutely. So you're absolutely right. The younger you are, typically the more aggressive you can be in your investments.
Being aggressive
meaning you're more heavily weighted towards stocks. So when you invest, there's a mixture of stocks, bonds, and cash. You may add commodities or real estate, but typically stocks, bonds, and cash make up your portfolio. And then to diversify it, you get in different sectors. So you can be more heavily weighted in stocks when you're younger because you have more time to recover from the market's volatility, use it for your favor. The older you get, or the shorter your time horizon, meaning the closer you get to retirement, the more you want to start reining back the horns, going more towards, I would say, bonds. Just incorporate them into your portfolio. What bonds do is they reduce your volatility or dampen it so that when the market takes the up and down swings, your swings potentially could not be quite as much.
Okay. Well, we're getting out of time now, so thank you for the information. But tell me, what things would you want to leave with our clients, with your potential clients?
That's right.
Right, and our viewers.
I would just say, if you have fears and concerns about the market, it's totally natural, but our approach is to help alleviate those fears and help you understand the market better. And then from there, we're always just here to help. And the best way to invest is to start early and often.
even if you're older, you
right.
still can start saving something.
Stay diversified, not be as aggressive, get into more interest-bearing type strategies that are not directly stock or market, involved. And that way you can still invest, because the main thing when you're in retirement, you want to beat inflation, because inflation is the cost of goods and services around you. They just keep going up. And if we sit in cash, then we lose purchasing power. So at least even in retirement, we need to keep up with inflation or add a little bit extra on top.
Okay, well, tell our audience where they can get in contact with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So our office is located in the Forest Lake Shopping Center. You can reach us at our phone number, 434-974-8300, or just give us a call. We'll be happy to help.
Okay, and your email address?
My email address is shawn.pendleton@stiefel.com.
Older people, I found, when they're 60s or 50s or 60s, think it's too late to invest or save their money. What do you say to those folks?
I'd say it's never too late to get invested. You just have to invest based on your risk tolerance. And I say that we're here to help. And if you want more resources, jamesdickman.com is the website that you want to go to. That's our team website. That has a lot of resources on how to invest. It has market analysis, and it has a contact sign-up sheet where you can actually reach out, put in your information. We'll reach out to you however you like.
Okay, tell us about this team concept.
Yeah, so I have my senior partner, James Dickman. We're the two advisors on the staff, and we have two associates, and we're all here to service and help you.
Okay. Just one last thing, the market's going is a record high, breaking all records. Is now's the time to invest or wait?
It's always a good time. Time is time and not timing. Stay diversified.
You said that before.
Yep, stay diversified and adjust your allocation accordingly.
Okay. Well, viewers, thank you for watching. This is Melvin Burruss, your host, and our guest has been Shawn Pendleton, Vice President of Investments. This has been the Neighborhood Law Center. You can see us at neighborhoodlawcenter.com, or as you see, we're on at Channel 13, Mondays at 10, Wednesdays at 9, and Fridays at 8 o'clock on Channel 13 in case you missed one of the programs. If not, go to neighborhoodlawcenter.com or YouTube and put in Neighborhood Law Center. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Peace.